Hey there, all my fam. We made it to another year, so I thought it would be a fun video to make about show you all my movies. This might be a part 2 or part 3, but let's get started. So we're going to start with this stack right here I have. So on top we have Moonfall. And I won't do really a ranking of these because let's say either I remember them, don't remember them, or have. But I'll do a like I have not watched selection. But I have seen a Moonfall, Planet of the Apes, the original. And I know the new one is coming this year, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I have not seen this, so I'll put it over here. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I think I've seen half of this, but I think I'm going to go with I have not seen this one. So we'll put that over there. The Terminator. Yes, I think everyone has seen Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't, sorry. Sorry if I can't pronounce his name right. But I bet everyone has known and seen that one. Twister. Yes, I've seen that one. This one. This one makes me scared of tornadoes, pretty much. I Kill Giants. Yes, I've seen this one. It's kind of like a. I'll give maybe a little description of these of movies a little bit. This one was just kind of like weird, you know. There wasn't really like a lot of like killing giants, even though it says I killed giants. But I mean, I thought it was pretty much okay. This I have not watched because it's in the ceiling still. But I have seen Doom. This is the 3-movie collection of Dwayne Johnson. I have seen Doom, which should be in one of these other towers that I have. But I have not seen Scorpion King or The Rundown. But Doom, I'm not into the video games that much of Doom, but I have played like some of a little bit the older ones and new ones where I'm like, heck, these are fun. Then I watched the movie. The movie for me, if I'm not comparing it to the games, I did actually like this one, but comparing to the games, it kind of got weird. But I guess I would put it like right here, right in the middle, because I have seen Doom, but I have not seen Scorpion King or The Rundown. G.I. Joe and The Rise of Cobra. I have not seen any of the G.I. Joe movies. I know, that surprises everyone. So I'll put it over there. Again, another G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe Retaliation. Again, and with Dwayne Rock Johnson, so I've not seen this one. Hellboy with dude from Stranger Things. David Harbour. I have seen this one, but it's been a long time. So if I remember it was okay, I'll probably have to rewatch it, but I have known I've seen it. Pirates of the Caribbean and the Curse of the Black Pearl. I believe this is the original one? The first one, maybe? I could be wrong about that one. But I love the Pirates of the Caribbean, so yes, I have seen this one. Predator 2. He's coming to town with a few days to kill. Predator 2. I remember he's like in the city. I believe I actually kind of had fun with this one because Predator, he's in the city, and I remember at the end where the Predator or some of the other Predators actually give the our good guy the award, like a Predator gun or something. So I kind of had fun with this one. But the original Predator, 10 out of 10. It's a classic. Can't go wrong with classics. Pitch Black. Again, I have not seen this one, but it does look pretty good with Vin Diesel. Hip, and scary as hell. I'm not going to say the other thing because kind of a little bit inappropriate. 47 meters down. I have seen this one. This is terrifying. If you're a shark lover, you will love this one. I like this one, but it's really terrifying as well. I remember one night, a long time ago when this movie was new, I put it on. I couldn't even opened my eyes when this one girl, when they're, stuck in the cage or something, and they're like swimming up, and she looks back and there's like thousands of sharks right behind her. It's pretty terrifying though. Like if you want to go to the ocean and want to swim in the water, I would highly not recommend watching that movie first. It's terrifying. The Predator. I actually did like this one. I quite enjoyed it, I mean, I like the big bad in it, and then the original Predator in it. The original Predator getting his butt whooped by the new Predator. I I had fun with this one. I haven't really rewatched some of these movies. So like if I rewatch this, maybe I might hate it or still enjoy it. But if I remember, I actually did like it a little bit. Oh, and by the way, this was actually my first rated R movie I bought in 2018. Yep, 2018. And I was like 15 or 14, whatever. Scan. Oh, wait, I actually bought the thing? Oh, and they didn't ask, like, for nothing. Zombieland. Man, good one for Halloween. It's a good comedy. If you're into, like horror comedy, I would really recommend this one. 10 out of 10. Back to the Future 1 and 2. One's inside this. Classics, 10 out of 10. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. You already know I'm going to say 10 out of 10. This is an epic trilogy of How to Train Your Dragon is an epic animation DreamWorks trilogy. It's just so good. And when you get to the end of this movie, you're bawling, crying, and everywhere. Rise of the Guardians. I know this is like one underrated and people don't like it, but I put this on and I actually do enjoy it. The villain in this movie is just so horrifying, and our heroes are just so good. I mean, you have Santa Claus in this movie too. You have Santa Claus in this movie. So, maybe a 9 out of 10, I would say. It Chapter 1 and 2. Boy. It Chapter 1. I love. I think it was pretty much my first horror movie I ever got to watch, and I absolutely fell in love with It Chapter 1. But we go to It Chapter 2 when they're all adults, and it's just like less scary. Even when he's going after other younger kids, it's just like, boy, the first one's better. I mean, It Chapter 2 is like fun, but it's also just boring at the same time. Like it's more like comedy than horror in It Chapter 2. It Chapter 1, you're like holding on to your seat, don't scream type challenge. It's just It Chapter 2 is just, I could throw hate comments at it. I just did not really like it. The House with the Clock in Its Walls and Casper. Casper, kids movie. I enjoy it. Don't really watch it a lot. House with a Clock in Its Walls. If I remember, I really did like this movie. Haven't rewatched it though, but it's a fun Jack Black movie. Now let's go to this little mini pile I made. 8 Mile. Oh boy. I'm gonna give this though maybe an 8 or 9 out of 10. The reason why I say that, I think there could be more, maybe like rapping in this. I don't know. Whenever I watch this movie, though, I do love it, but it doesn't like, how would you say, like hype me up or nothing like that. But I do enjoy it, though. I do enjoy it when I do put it on. And hey, I found out on VHS too, and it's with Eminem, of course. But I mean, it's a pretty good one, either 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. I still enjoy it. Let's make our new pile like right there. Alrighty, hold on, sorry, a little scratch. Scream 1, Scream 2, and Scream 3, classics. Scream 1, Matthew Lillard did a fantastic job as playing Stu. I forgot his his full name. And, it's a classic. The second one kind of lost me, but when I rewatched it again, I think in October, I actually did enjoy it, though. I had a little fun with it because there's two Ghostface in this movie where you're like, okay, who's the second one? Okay, who's that one? Oh my god, you're what? Third one, I think I have to rewatch again. This one didn't really that much make sense for me, and I heard it's not really the best Scream movie. This one was kind of like, okay, done with that movie. Okay. I don't really I remember it's like a movie set where they're making parody movies of Scream. So, how do I not try to confuse you guys? So in the Scream movies, especially in Scream 2, there's a movie called Stab, I believe, or Knife, which is based off of Scream, because in their world, Scream is like a true movie, It's a true event that happened in their town. That's where Scream 1 took place, and so in Scream 2, they made a movie of Scream 1, but in their sort of it's called like Stab, but when you watch Scream 2, you basically see it's a parody of pretty much this whole movie up here. Scream 3, I believe they're trying to do Scream 2, but I can't really remember that much that happened. I know there was a movie set that they were doing, but I did watch it, and if I probably can remember, then it was maybe not that good, but the other two were. Oh, yep, and I have the VHS version of Scream, the first one. Halloween 3, I enjoy it for a Halloween, holiday movie, but when it comes to, Michael Myers, this one I also just hate. 0 out of 10. Well, okay, for a holiday movie, maybe let's give it, a 5 out of 10. I sort of enjoy it, but it's just not, my favorite that much. But when it also comes to, Michael Myers, it's a 0 out of 10. Does not compare. Basically, this movie was gonna, Halloween was gonna be an anthology, series, and just be called, Halloween, Halloween this, Halloween that. But when Michael Myers came out for the first two movies, everyone loved him. But when this movie came out, I think it was maybe, mixed reviews. And, again, not bad to, watch on, the season, of Halloween in October. Not, bad, it still has some good memorable moments. But if you're trying to, do, a Halloween trilogy marathon, definitely skip this one, because there's only, a cameo, a TV spot for the original Halloween. And there's not even, have Laurie Strode or Michael Myers in it. Yeah, this one I was just, watching, and I'm like, okay, when's Michael Myers going to show up? Yeah, it just wasn't really my favorite. Halloween 2. This should have been the end of Michael Myers, but I know they had to bring him back on Halloween 4, because everyone hated Halloween 3. This one, pretty much, how can I say, I also had fun with this one. Doesn't compare to the original, but it's also up there as well, so maybe a 9 out of 10. But, what was I gonna say? Can't remember, a lot in this movie that made me say 9 out of 10. But other than that, still a good movie, still, a classic right here. But we're gonna talk about the next classic, Halloween. This one is an all-time classic. Nothing can beat, well, for not talking about horror movies, then yeah, something's gonna beat this. But other than that, though, it's a classic. This is one of my favorite Michael Myers film because it's the original, and it's just a straight-on story. He's just trying to stabbing babysitters. Basically, I'm like, okay, this is actually fun, scary, and everything in between. It has that Halloween season even in the movie. Alright, so next we go on to E.T. Extraterrestrial. And this, I have to say, a 10 out of 10 out of 10. I remember I rewatched this like last year, and like I still felt bad for E.T. whenever he was dying on planet Earth and he needed to go back to his planet. Like I was literally almost like crying at that part. So 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece and I love it. Uncharted. This one, ooh, for a video game adaptation, I didn't really like. But if you put it like, if I'm putting it more like just like an adventure type movie, I quite enjoyed. Let's see. I think maybe like again, 8 out of 10 because there was no Nathan Drake's girlfriend. He just started falling in love with Chloe over here, which again, I believe in Uncharted 2. Sorry, spoilers. They do kind of have a thing, but he's mostly in love with Elena, I believe her name is Elena, from the first game. First, they're like friends, start dating other people, and then Uncharted 4, they're pretty much married and have a kid. Sorry for the spoilers. But in this one, they don't even bring up Elena. Or they have Mark Wahlberg as Sully, who's more of like an older type dude. And I have to say, though, I did like it. I liked it. You know, I had some good moments in this movie. So I'm not going to say it was like bad below like 5 out of 10. But I would have to say 8 out of 10 because it was kind of like mixed between all the Uncharted like video games, but then it was also focused on Uncharted 4, which was the main like big video game. So it was kind of like confusing because it also brought up like his brother, which we sorry if I'm always giving spoilers about the Uncharted video games, which we find out in like Uncharted 4, I believe, if I remember that right, or Uncharted 3 maybe. No, I think Uncharted 4, which this movie's kind of like being based off, but I'm like, why don't you just focus on the first Uncharted video game and make that into a movie and then see where that goes, not just mix it all up and then say it's based on Uncharted 4. Yeah, there. So like 8 out of 10. Still a good like adventure type movie, but I wouldn't say really like the best adaptation like video game. In my opinion. Next is Avengers Endgame. 10 out of 10. Watch this in IMAX. Good movie to an epic trilogy. Next is Ants. Again, I have not seen this one, but I'm starting to collect like all the DreamWorks movies. And I have not gotten Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken yet. I have some, but I'm almost like done with all of them. Almost. I have not seen this one. I hope it's pretty good. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. I have not really seen the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies in a long time, so I probably have to rewatch this one, but I would say if I remember this movie, I probably quite enjoyed it. You know, I'm not going to really... So I won't do a ranking of like the movies that I can't really remember that well. So I'll just say like, okay, it was probably a little bit good. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This movie I can't remember again that well. But when I was little, I think I did really like watching this movie. So I think 10 out of 10. You know, it's a classic too. Triple X. This movie, I don't think I really remember like finishing it. So I think we'll have to do, but I do remember watching it. So maybe like with the movies I have not really like finished, I'll put in also right in the middle. Ooh, Fast 9. Now we're getting into a little bit of Fast and Furious. No, I do not have Fast X yet. Should have bought that one when I was in Bozeman. But anyway, Fast 9. Like, Fast 9 and then Jurassic World kind of went just like downhill. This, I think 2022 this came out. Let me look at this. 2021 and then 2022 Jurassic World Dominion came out and they just weren't that good. This one we figure out Dom has a brother, and Dom thinks that his brother killed his father, which was someone else's fault. Yeah, it just got really like jumbled up. Then at the end, the brothers make up and they fight the bad guys. She gets away. Yeah, this one, it was wasn't really that great though. Like, pretty much he just changes his mind, like, hey, I will not hurt my family. And yeah, I think maybe if I rewatch it, I'll like it a little bit more. But other than that, I don't think it was really the best Fast and Furious movie for me. Now, right here, we have the Fast and Furious 8 movie collection. The 8 movie collection. So, the first Fast and Furious, a classic. I love the street racing they have in that movie. So, 10 out of 10. Too Fast, Too Furious. Ooh, I was kind of like... Again, I think with, like, Scream or... No, wait, Halloween 3? I mean, it's better than Halloween 3, but I was like, oh, wait, where's Dom Toretto? Where's Dom Toretto? This one was, like, the okay. It's like the okay, I guess maybe you could say the black sheep or whatever. In this trilogy was Too Fast, Too Furious. It was alright. So maybe like, again, maybe like an 8 out of 10. It was kind of like boring because I did like the, what was it? The, one of the deleted scenes though were, Paul Walker's going through like every state and doing street racing. But I think in this movie, if I remember, he turns back into like a cop or something. Has to get these bad guys. It was still like fun, I have to admit that. So that's why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I just didn't really like the cop part, really. I just like the street racing type parts. Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Oh man, now this one I actually do enjoy in this franchise though. Maybe like a 9 out of 10. Because, at the end they do have... Well, okay, right now forget about Dom Toretto. They bring in, I forgot what that dude's name was again. But I remember him. But this one, again, is mostly the black sheep of the Fast and Furious saga. It doesn't really connect to the rest of the movies. Oh wait, Han, I think his name was Han. Doesn't like technically connect to the rest of the the rest of the Fast and Furious movies. But this one you like have fun, it's a cool beat, it's another street racing type movie. But it does bring in Han. But you mostly reconnect with these characters in Fast 9. Except for, well, I mean, yeah, you do connect with Han. But the rest of the characters, though, in this movie, you, like, don't really remember until, like, Fast 9. You're like, oh, I remember those characters. It's kind of like that black sheep of the family because they don't really mention that much of Tokyo except for, like, Han, really. And that's pretty much it, but I still enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. Fast and Furious. Boy. Sorry, I can't remember all the Fast and Furious movies because there's a lot of them. But Fast and Furious, if I remember... what happened in this movie? Was it the one... Fast and Furious? Let's maybe skip that one and see if it'll come back to me, maybe. Fast 5. I think that's the one... I do remember, like, in Fast 6, though, that's where... Okay, sorry if I'm confusing you, but I know in Fast 6... Oh, wait, I think in Fast 5, that's when we get Dwayne Johnson, I believe. And I think this is where Fast 10 takes place as well. And they're doing that whole, like, tank racing, and they had that tank right behind them. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that sequence. 9 out of 10. Fast and Furious 6. I believe... Ooh, I forgot who the villain was again, but I know at the end it was a... Ooh, I believe it was Shaw at the end who blew up. So I'll try to like remember what happened like at the very end. Han goes back. So pretty much these are like prequel, sequel type movies. Han goes back to Tokyo, and that's where Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift takes place. And in the middle of that movie, Han dies. Don't worry, he apparently comes back in the franchise. But at the end of Fast 7, we see him die in the middle of Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. And we realize that Shaw has done the explosion part. If I remember that right. And I think, I'm trying to remember who was the villain in Fast and Furious 6. I think it might have been, I think it might have been Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character, Hobbs, I think. I think he was kind of like the bad guy, but again, I think that was a good film, if I remember that correctly. Oh, you know what? I think in Fast and Furious, I think... Oh. Thinking Fast and Furious, is that where they go through the mine? I actually really like that one. I think if I'm right about that one, either which one movie goes through the mines, 10 out of 10. Maybe 9 out of 10. I actually really like that part in that movie. Oh, yeah, and then Lenny dies, I remember. I think if I remember, that's the right movie I'm thinking of. Because I think in Fast 5, either Fast 5 or Fast 6, Lenny comes back, if I remember. I remember one of the movies Lenny dies, but gets reborn or something, but brainwashed at the same time. And I believe that was Fast 6, if I remember that correctly. Furious 7, R.I.P. to Paul Walker. This would always be maybe like the best, though. Especially with Shaw being the villain of this movie. And then them coming out of the helicopter on the in the cars. Oh my god, you guys. That would probably be the best in the franchise. I think maybe I'll have to give it a 10 out of 10. Sorry, I'm not really good at ranking, but again, my opinion. The Fate of the Furious. Ooh. This one I also... Sorry, it's like I somehow a little bit enjoy all these. Except maybe like for Fast 2. But The Fate of the Furious, if I remember, was that like... Oh yeah, one of Dawn's love interest dies. And so Dawn has to raise the kid. And Fast 9. I think I actually did enjoy this one as well. Maybe like an 8 out of 10. I didn't really like it when Dom went bad and just started like being mean to his fan. I kind of like that, but then like it was kind of weird how he was like being mean to his family though. But or maybe 9 out of 10, because I did get it though where his baby's endangered, and if he didn't do what she told him to do, she would shoot his family, pretty much. Well, not the whole family, but, murder his wife and child. And also Lenny was in that one, so it was kind of like... Hobbs and Shaw, 10 out of 10. With the, was it the AI, like, bad guy? The, robotic bad guy or whatever. I actually like this one. I remember going to see it in theaters down here with my best friend, and we just loved it. Like, we thought it was just so cool, so action-packed, and we absolutely just loved this film. No hate. I have no hate for this film. Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Jason Statham, I think I like them together. They make pretty good action movie buddies. The next is the Polar Express. This one is a good one to watch on the holidays. Oh, wait a minute. Why am I putting them right there? I should be putting... Okay, sorry. I put them in a little bit of the wrong spot. This one is a good one, like, to watch on the holidays, you know. Does have that weird animation like the Jim Carrey's A Christmas Carol had. But this one, for me, when I always watch it, it's, like, less creepier than the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol movie. So with this one, felt I wouldn't say really lazy, but just kind of like, I wish there was more, like, train sequences stuff, you know. But other than that, I mean, I did like it. Maybe give it either 8 or 7 out of 10. Felt like they could have done a lot more, like, actiony, like, stuff with that train, you know. Make it go down, like, big hills, you know, and all that, turn a lot. I don't know, maybe I have to rewatch the movie. Now this was my favorite, my second favorite now comedy, like, in a long this year, was superhero movie. This one, so again, you may be older than me and grew up in the 2000s watching superhero movies. This one's I don't know if you remember these movies that would do, like, parodies of, like, horror movies or superhero movies or disaster movies. This one does a parody of all the superhero movies that came out before the MCU. So kind of like more, if I remember, like X-Men. It was more, if I remember, like X-Men, Batman, and mostly though the story is Spider-Man, but it does have a few references in there where has like the Fantastic Four, again, X-Men, so basically movies that came around the 2000. It came out in 2008, so, but it's basically when you're watching, like, the story of it, it's basically Spider-Man, with a few, like, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and some, like, 2000 type superheroes references in the movie as well. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. Next one, we have another 10 out of 10, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I'm not joking. If you were okay with the first Puss in Boots, which I still enjoy, this one will crank it up even more. The art style in this one is just beautiful. The story, beautiful and nice. We have a bad guy named Death who's just like... When I was at school, everyone was scared of hearing the Death whistle just because of this movie. Like, he would do this really creepy, like, whistle that when you hear it, you knew he was coming. You knew. So everyone was just like, oh my god, I hear him. Great story, great villains. Puss in Boots is greater than his first movies and in the Shrek movies. He's more greater in this one. So basically in the movie, he makes a song how he's not scared of being, like, because he's never been touched by a blade, he's never done this and that, but he has been killed off 8 times in the movie. Sorry if I give out spoilers for, like, movies that you haven't seen or have seen or anything. I'm sorry. Should have done a warning. I never thought I would do, like, a little reviews of some movies. But yeah, in this movie, he's not scared of anything. You know, he's a cat. He has 8 lives that he's already spent, though, but he doesn't know that he spent those, like, 8 lives. So he's down to his last life. That's when he runs into his mortal enemy, or enemy, whatever, Death. And yeah, basically when him and Death have their first fight, he gets a little, like, I guess you could say a little, like, scrape or something from Death's sword or whatever it's called. And he starts being scared because in his song he says he never been touched by a blade. Boom. He gets touched by Death's blade and he starts to, like, panic. His fur starts to stick up. He realizes he's not, like, the hero that he once was. He starts, like, to run off. But other than that, you know, you have to, like, just watch this movie. If you're into just animation itself, doesn't technically really continue with the first movie. It's kind of like it's a little own thing. I mean, it still has Kitty Softpaws, but it doesn't really like that much mention the first movie. So it's like you're not really missing a lot of stuff. Just if you want to know more about Kitty Softpaws, then you watch the first movie. Other than that, 10 out of 10, actually 100 out of 100. It's really good. The next one, which would probably be a 10 out of 10, because that's Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Before I give my review on this one, I will make a video about at least all the movies that I remember watching in the movie theater, a ranking. My ranking, of course. But this one I did watch a movie in the movie theater. 10, maybe the 9 out of 10. Either one of those two. But I absolutely loved it. The reason why people hated it, and not like, oh man, this is geared for kids, it's because I went a little bit backstory, and Seth Rogen, or whatever, who directed this, wanted to do the teenager side of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because once you watch the other movies, they're more like mature, they're more violence, I guess you could say. This one's more focused on like the teenager side of the Ninja Turtles. So like they mentioned like Drake, TikTok, whatever. And I actually really enjoyed that in the film. First watching the trailer and hearing about this, I was like, okay, I hope this doesn't turn out this bad. I quite enjoyed it. It was like kind of like a little adventure with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know. Spoiler alert, there was no Shredder. But yeah, this one I would also recommend. And if you watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, it has that same art style to it. And I had actually really fun with this film. That's why I'm giving it, I'm going to stick with a 10 out of 10. I just had fun with this film. Besides it being a Ninja Turtle movie, it's more, again, focused on the, actually, you know what, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I did not really like the training sequence, though, they had in this movie. It was kind of, like, off. But other than that, yeah, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Still a good movie, though. Still a good, like, little, like, family movie than the others were. Not saying the others weren't good. I still love the 2014 movie. Yeah, you heard me. But other than that, yeah, it was a 10 out of 10. I mean, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, not 10 out of 10. I just didn't like one part of the movie. Next we have is Beetlejuice, classic, 10 out of 10. Madagascar 2, I should really rewatch these. Like, I'm thinking of planning maybe this year, just rewatch some, like, the old classic movies that I grew up with. You know, like Madagascar, Nemo, the ones I mostly grew up with, because nowadays, DreamWorks is now, like, feels like the king. If they to me, it's like they're the king of animation right now. While Disney's going low, DreamWorks, on the other hand, is going up. But yeah, this one, if I remember the Moto scene, it was pretty good. I have to probably rewatch it again to give it a ranking, but oh yeah, I remember in the beginning though, it was pretty sad. Again, DreamWorks does make me cry sometimes, or just feel like that emotion of almost crying. But I think I'm gonna have to give this one, maybe like the 9 out of 10. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna say 10 out of 10. So I know you're gonna hate me for this, but I actually do like the Madagascar trilogy. I do like them. Skyscraper, I have not watched, but I will probably this year. Scream 6, I believe. This one, I felt like they could have done a lot more, but this one's like a 9 out of 10. I would have to say, the reason why I gave it a 9 out of 10, because I think they could have done a lot more with, like, the season. Because in the movie, they did, like, a Halloween season in New York. But that's why it goes in the 9 out of 10, because it's in New York. Scream movie in New York. And I absolutely did have fun with that plot. 10 out of 10 goes to the Super Mario Bros. Yes, I more dive into like Sonic, but Mario, I kind of a little bit have a soft spot. Yeah, I don't really have like a lot of games that I do with like Sonic, but watching this movie, first I was like, okay, this is just gonna be a fun little kids movie. It was a fun little kids movie, but for me, it was like, oh my god, I remember this. I remember that. Oh, Mario Kart. So yeah, that's why I gave it a 10 out of 10 for nostalgia stuff. It was great watching it in the theaters. And the reason why I also gave it a 10 out of 10 because I actually watched it 2 times. First, I watched it in the Bozeman movie theater with my grandma, and then when it came down here, I went to go watch it again because I heard they had a end credits, which I didn't watch in Bozeman, so I went to go watch it again, and I still enjoyed it. I know I'm gonna get some hate comments, but I have not watched Avatar: The Way of Water. I heard it's really good, and I know I gotta watch it sometime next year. Now this one is the Kevin Hart collection, so I have not seen Ride Along 2, and Kevin Hart, What Now? But I have seen Night School, Big Mac. My son is called Little Mac. I remember that. That's like the only part I do remember, unless he did get in like a car accident in that movie as well. But yeah, that's like the most memorable part of that movie I remember. Footloose, the original. I think I only watched it once, but I think I did like it. So, it's the original. Maybe like a 9 out of 10. I don't really remember a lot from this movie. But, yeah, I have to give it a 9 out of 10 because it's original. I do like the song a lot. Benchwarmers. I love this movie. I think maybe my third favorite comedy of this year I've watched was The Benchwarmers. Honestly, though, when I put this on, I just have like fun with it. There's nothing wrong with it. So again, another 10 out of 10 movie. It's a classic right there. And oh yeah, we probably don't have to go over this one. Fast 6. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Now looking at this, yeah, I think they do get Lenny. Yeah, they do get Lenny back, and it's, I believe, Sean's brother who's the bad guy in this movie. And this is where they're like fighting on the highway as well. Yeah, now I kind of remember this movie. Just looking at the back here, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now I remember which one, which. Oh, sorry, I don't want to bump that over. The next one we have, I have not watched, Stephen King's Dead Zone. There's another one I didn't watch. I don't know where to put the Kevin Hart one because I think I'll just put in I didn't watch, even though I've seen Night School. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I have watched. It's kind of like confusing. So maybe like a 5 out of 10. It just really felt, I had fun with it, but it really was like just confusing though. Because this woman, she's like the savior of like the universe or something, and they're killing off each one of her because, I don't know, then the villain is the daughter for something. It was just confusing. I mean, I did have fun and liked it, but the reason why I gave it 5 out of 10 because it was just really confusing when it got really into the multiverse type stuff. Or maybe an 8 out of 10 because it was actually really interesting. I'm gonna go with the 8 out of 10. It was interesting. I would maybe like highly recommend this one, but I have to give it an 8 out of 10 because still the confusing part, but still fun at the same time. Like for me, it was confusing, not confusing, back to confusing, wasn't back to confusing. It was pretty much all over the place, but I still liked it. Goosebumps. I don't care. Hate comments. 10 out of 10, but did not like the sequel. This is where I was in my prime of Goosebumps. Like, I just loved Goosebumps when I was a kid. Not that much anymore. Still trying to finish up with the Disney Plus series. But back then, I was just crazy about this movie. I didn't even care what people said about Jack Black being R.L. Stine. I still like it when R.L. Stine made a cameo. But I was like, heck you guys, I still love this movie. The monsters are coming out of the pages. I absolutely loved it. And I still like it to this day. Oh, I mean, how would I say to this day? I see the problems, but I'm like, you know what? This was part of my childhood. I think with TV shows, I'll have to do the next time. Because I was Stranger Things. Riddick. I have not seen this one, but it looks pretty cool. I think it continues with the Pitch Black series. So I have not watched that. I know this is all taped up. I have seen Detective Pikachu. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, but did come with Ryan Reynolds. And I actually liked it. I don't know what rating I would give it, though, but maybe just a 10 out of 10 because Ryan Reynolds with it. And I mean, it did have a few good action sequences. Don't really remember what the movie was mainly about. Oh, wait. Our main character's dad gone missing. And I did like the ending where the dad was Ryan Reynolds, if I remember that right again. The reason why I gave it 10 out of 10, it was just fun. Just a fun movie, even though I'm not really into Pikachu. This one, you already know I'm going to give 10 out of 10. Five Nights at Freddy's, there's like no reason why I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. 100 out of 100. I absolutely love Five Nights at Freddy's. I love the games. Yes, I have not really finished Sister Location or the sixth one, but I still love Five Nights at Freddy's. Read all the books. Basically, they'll play like half through of those other two games. I just really couldn't get past night 4 of Sister Location. It's kind of like tricky. And the other one, maybe night 3 or night 2. I think I'm going to go with night 3. But other than that, played the rest of the games. Absolutely loved it. Read the books, and I think... Sorry, I'm taking a little break from Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm reading like Bendy... one of the Bendy books. Which, again, he's about to get his own movie sometime this year. But again, this one was just like so good. So this is basically for the fans. You know, it's not really technically for horror fans. Unless you like non-CGI stuff. It's mostly animatronics in this movie. Or people in suits. And that's why I really enjoyed it. Because they're like, heck the CGI. We want to go for like the real stuff. People in suits. And I saw the quirky stuff of this movie. But I still enjoyed it. I will ignore anything that you guys say about this movie. It'll still be my number 10 out of 10 horror movie of the year. The next, I have seen Jack Frost. You know, cute little movie. I don't know what I would rate it. But I have not seen Christmas Vacation 2. It's probably a bad movie, but I still have not watched it. So I'll put it in the I have not watched it, half watched. Or maybe I'll put that one actually in the middle because I have seen Jack Frost, but I have not seen Christmas Vacation. It's a 2-movie thing. The next one is another DreamWorks one I have not watched. Sinbad and the Legend of the Seven Seas. It's with Brad Pitt. I don't think I remember him in a lot of movies that I've watched. But it might be good or not. I have not seen it. What else is over here? Happy Gilmore. My favorite, one of my favorite comedies. I have to say maybe my 4th. Yeah, I'm just going to go by list, which ones I really liked in the comedy section. 4th favorite comedy. Nothing Will Beat Strays. Nothing Will Beat Strays. That's why it's my number 1 of the year comedy. Because I absolutely did enjoy that one. This one I have to give the 4th place. 10 out of 10. My favorite golf movie. My favorite... Again, my, favorite, though, comedy movie. Not of the year, though. Not of this year. I mean, it's my favorite favorite golf movie, though, of all time. So, yeah. 10 out of 10 right there. Assassin's Creed. This one... I'm trying to dive into these like video games of Assassin's Creed, and I think I made it halfway through. So I can't remember everything in this movie, so it goes right in the middle. Nightmare on Elm Street. Classic, 10 out of 10. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Oh, boy. I can't really remember all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So I'm going to have to say maybe like just... I don't know. I don't know how to give a ranking of the other Elm Street movies. I have seen them all, but I can't really like remember that much what they're about. I know the first one had Johnny Depp in it and everything, but I think I was just really like scamming through these movies, but I still watched them all. But I can't really remember what the other ones were really about. I think if I remember the third one was like he's at a hospital or something. He's a fun character, Freddy Krueger. So maybe at least 10 out of 10 for the first movie. If I remember the rest, I'll probably tell you. I'll tell you. 0 out of 10. I absolutely just hated Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie version. It went with scary. That's good. So maybe like the 1 out of 10 had that scary stuff, but the story I just didn't like. I just didn't like this film. Basically, the story was Michael Myers can somehow see his mom with a freaking horse, and Michael Myers' mom is telling him to go kill the other teenagers, which I'm like, he could do that in the other movies? Okay, this is just wrong and weird. He didn't have like really his mask in this movie. He's just all like buffed out. It was not really like the best, even though if I describe it like, oh, it's so cool, Sal, why are you hating on this movie? But when you watch it, it's just like, okay, this is just weird. I can see why Sal hated it. Straight out of Compton. I picked this up at the Family Dollar. Still in its plastic, and I have not seen this one yet, but I looked at him like, has Dr. Dre, Easy, an Ice Cube. Don't really know the rest. But Straight Outta Compton tells a true story of the 5 young critical rebels. I'm like, heck, I seen 8 Mile, so I might actually like that one. The original Space Jam. Besides Lola Bunny giving here an 10 out of 10, besides Lola Bunny, I'll have to give this one maybe like the 8 out of 10. I'm not technically really into I mean, I like basketball, and I did have fun with this one. So, sorry, I'm bad at ranking on this movie, like either 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, because it's Looney Tunes. Of course, I like Looney Tunes. The second one, no, not that much though. I don't think I have the second one in my collection, and I don't want to. The second one, 0 out of 10. It wasn't really that memorable or that good. I'm gonna have to give that one a 0 out of 10. But this one, either 8 or 9 out of 10. First, it seemed like kind of boring until it reached like the Looney Tune parts. I'm like, okay, cool. So 8 or 9 out of 10. Still was a pretty good classic. This one I know I've watched, but I can't remember. But I think if I remember, I did remember. If I do remember, there's no Will Smith in this. I think he gets killed on. Well, you don't see it, but you do hear about it. Will Smith's son in this movie is all grown up. And yeah. Can't remember a lot in this movie, so I'll probably have to rewatch it again. I probably enjoyed it because of the big alien scene at the end, but I'll have to rewatch it again. Again, Freddy Krueger. Ooh, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This one I did enjoy. Maybe like the 8 out of 10 because it was not a parody and was like a parody of the original like movies that came out. So Wes Craven actually took place in like real life. So like when they were making... basically, if you watch the movie, it will make sense. So, like, when they're making all the movies, the movies took place in this movie. So, like, they would do, like, cut, and, the actors would be like, oh, man, Freddy Krueger's so scary. But in this movie, he comes to, like, real life and all that, The Dream Child, The Final Nightmare. Again, I do remember these movies, so I have to say they're just fun. But for Wes Craven's New Nightmare, I actually remember enjoying. So I have to give that one maybe like the 9 out of 10. Friday the 13th Part 2. 9 out of 10 maybe. We got our Jason in this movie. And maybe like a fun time of him just watching killing people and all that. So 9 out of 10. I'm sorry, when it comes to like Michael Myers and Jason, I have to go with Michael Myers though. He just feels like, to me, he's the more like memorable. Jason, I know I've watched his movies, but he didn't like feel to me like memorable at all. Like I would see like merchandise of like either him or Halloween. Somehow I'll just go with Halloween. Salem's Lot, 5 out of 10. When it got to the vampire part, it was pretty cool. But the rest of the story is just felt like slow to me. It just felt slow. I remember just days after days, just like watching this. I'm like, oh, see the vampire till like maybe like the 4th or 3rd act, they call it. So it was just kind of like slow. So I have to give this a 5 out of 10. It was just kind of like slow until we reached the vampire part, for me at least. Friday the 13th, Killer Cut. I remember loving this one though. Directed by Michael Bay. Just him doing regular stuff, killing the campers. I absolutely loved this one. I thought I would hate it, but for me, it did great. It was, the okay. Maybe like the 8 out of 10. The Michael Myers 3 movie trilogy, which comes with Halloween H2O, one of my favorites. Halloween Resurrection. Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers. Maybe. Halloween H2O, I love the return of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers 20 years later or something, when her son, again not mentioned in the other films, is in the college. She's like a teacher there as well. Michael Myers is just like doing his normal stuff and coming after them, and I quite enjoyed it in that film. Halloween Resurrection is just one of those like TV shows that they did, but in the Michael Myers house, and Michael Myers is just gonna go kill him, but might sound really fun, but when you watch it, just like, okay, this is pretty dumb. Curse of Michael Myers, I believe that one's actually with, Paul Rudd. But the weird one, this is why I'm like putting it right in the middle, is because there's some sort of like cult that's happening with Michael Myers, and the reason why I think he never dies. I thought it would be interesting, but Paul Rudd does put the interesting in this movie. He's fun, and I think it's his first movie he did. I think. Other than that, it was like pretty okay. Not really like, I would say, memorable. And Nightmare on Elm Street again. Alrighty, I think I'm almost close to making a part 2 of this collection. So, it is almost an hour long, so thank you for watching part 1. I'll see you guys next time.